Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a story time on a not so fun experience for me, but I feel like it would be entertaining for other people to see. So I'm gonna be telling you about the time that I got puked on. Obviously, probably you know that because of the title of this, but anyways. So this happened 3 years ago, and I know that because I started dating my husband, but it's not my husband who puked on me, it was actually my best friend, and my husband was gone. So that's how I kind of know the timeline. It happened 3 years ago, this summer. Anyways, so the night started out pretty easy going. Like, my best friend and my guy best friend, we were all getting ready to go to the carnival, and we knew that's what we had planned for the night, and him and I were going, and I think my best friend had her boyfriend with her or something, so I wanted someone just to go with so I wasn't like the awkward third wheel. So we all met up and we decided that we were hungry, so we went to McDonald's and we sat down, and my friend that I was hanging out with that night, his name's Eli, he decided to go up and order some food, and he came back with 4 burgers, like 2 McDoubles and then 2 hot and spices or whatever, and then a Coke. And so he went and ordered that, and he comes back and he sits down and eats all the food, and we're all just talking and hanging out, having a pretty good time. And everything's going good, and we get back in my truck and we go to the carnival. And we're like, well, what ride should we go on first? So we walk around looking at all the rides. There's like the Kamikaze and the Typhoon and all that. And I was like, well, I don't want to go on the Ferris wheel because I'm afraid of heights. And so everyone's like, well, why don't we all go on the spider? And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. And if you don't know what the spider is, or like the octopus, I know it goes by both names. Basically, you sit in this chair and it spins, and while it's spinning, you go up and down like really fast. And there's 16 chairs, so a lot of people can be on this ride at the same time. And we went up, and the carny was talking to me, and like we were small talk or whatever. But at this time, I was actually taken, and we're waiting in line, and my best friend's like, okay, I don't want to go too fast on this, but the carny knew that I liked when they spun really, really fast, and so we climbed in and he spun it, and I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be bad. And then Eli's like, no, I can handle it, it's not that big of a deal. And I was like, you promise you won't get sick? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And so we were sitting there waiting for it to start going, and they load us in, and then they put us at the top, and then they load more people in, and we're just sitting there waiting, and the entire ride starts going, and we're spinning and going up and down, and I mean, we're spinning the entire time. There's like no breaks in between, and I was like feeling sick even though I didn't eat anything. And the ride goes for about 3 to 4 minutes, I would guess, and it stops, and we're at the top just waiting for them to like lower us down so we can get off. And my friend looks at me and he says, Jasmin, I don't feel good. And I was like, what do you mean you don't feel good? And he's like, yeah, I really don't feel good. And I'm like, well, you better not puke on me. And so he looks at me and he's like, I won't. And then he like looks back over the edge for a minute, looks at me, and just pukes all over me. Like, it went all over my pants, all over like the bottom half of my shirt. It went behind me in the seat because the seat like holds you. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna puke right now too, because I'm one of those people, I cannot stand it. And so I like lean over the edge because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to puke. And I'm like, why didn't you puke off the edge instead of on me? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I didn't think about it. And so I'm waiting to get down. And this entire time it's like warm and stinky, and there's chunks of the burgers and stuff in it. And so I'm like dying, just waiting to get down. And finally they bring us back down, and the carny looks at me and he's like, oh my goodness. And he's like, stay here. He's like, just stay here. Don't move. Don't get up. Don't do anything. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? So he like runs off, shuts down the ride, and grabs a hose and comes back and starts hosing me down. And then like I turn around, he hoses down all of my pants and like my capris and my legs and everything. And my friend Eli, he hoses him down, and he's like, is this your boyfriend? I can't believe he would puke on you. And I was like, no, it's not my boyfriend. He's just one of my friends. And he's like, oh, well, your boyfriend, or he's like, I just said he wasn't my boyfriend. And so he's like, oh, well, that really sucks. I'm sorry he puked on you. And we left, and I went home and I jumped in the shower, and then I changed and went back because I didn't want that to like ruin my night or anything. And so I went back to the carnival, and I went on the spider with one of my other friends, and the carny who was there earlier is like, hey, I'm sorry that happened to you, but do you want to have my number? And I was like, I don't know. And so he gave me his number and like we texted for a couple of days, but he was like 28 and I was like 17 at that time, and I was also taken, and I did not have interest in him that way, obviously, because I was taken to the guy that I ended up marrying. But yeah, so that's the time that I got puked all over on. It was awful. If you have stories like this, leave them in the comments down below, because I don't want to be the only one who suffers from this type of stuff. And for the record, adult puke is a lot different than baby puke. Like, baby puke is just kind of like, you know, liquid. Adult puke is not. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about this disgusting story time, but I just felt like putting it out there for you guys. But anyways, I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!